I abhor ignorance, meaning I hate ignorance, intolerance, violence, tyranny, oppression, apathy, aggression, and evil in whatever form or acted upon in whatever name or authority. My time on this earth is temporary and subject to the terms set forth by my Creator. I have but one duty, and that is to live in accordance with the conscience I am blessed with. As a result of such exercise, mankind and society will incur no burden on my behalf, suffer no injury, and be none diminished. All of my actions are voluntarily, purposefully, and wholly my responsibility. I claim no responsibility for the feelings, thoughts, or acts of others who make themselves subject to whatever external influence may be perceived by my autonomous actions. I believe I have a duty as a condition of the bountiful gifts which my Creator has bestowed upon me to avail myself to others who find comfort, value, and knowledge in my gifts, and who seek to share in that bounty which I enjoy. I will give charitably, generously, and graciously as dictated by my will and capacity alone, and in whatever manner I deem fit for my benefit. Therefore, to a candid world be known that I, Fatimah A, Lillie, born Yolanda Yolette Wilkins, having exhausted all reasonable means at my disposal to claim and assert my natural rights to self-determination, autonomy, sovereignty, and freedom, and as a last resort, make the aforesaid statement as my public affirmation/declaration of sovereignty, expatriation, and dissolution of all previous national and political allegiance, and will, at all the power possessed by me through my Creator, swear that I will act and live according to the dictates of my conscience in a reasonable, responsible, peaceful, and rational manner, will do intentional harm to any, no other, or, okay, let me make sure I have that. I want to make sure I have that correct. And will, with all the power possessed by me through my Creator, swear that I will act and live according to the dictates of my conscience in a reasonable, responsible, peaceable, and rational manner. I will do no intentional harm to anyone, no other. I will do intentional harm to any, no other, or their property, to anyone, nor anyone's property. And I will be accountable to only my Creator for my earthly transgressions, submitting myself to just atonement and compensation for any intentional acts against or breaches of duty to the life, liberty, or property of another living, breathing being. Corporations do not count. Corporate entities do not count. Persons do not count. Look up the term person in the California Code, in Black's Law Dictionary, Bouvier's dictionary. Look up the term person. People, we are not persons. Everything that you see with regards to the so-called laws are directed towards persons. There's a reason why they don't say people. We are the people. We are not persons. We are not corporations. We are not individuals. Those are all terms that relate to a corporation. You don't have to believe me. Do your own due diligence, because I'm not here to convince you of anything. I am here to make my public announcement for my benefit. If you choose to know more or learn more or wish to know anything that I know, I'm more than happy to share with you what I know, what I have researched and studied for myself, and hopefully you will take heed. Otherwise, perish. Understand, there is no benefit to being a United States citizen. Being a United States citizen, accepting that title, means giving up your God-given human rights. Human rights are not the same as civil rights. There's a lot of people that are out there fighting for civil rights. Civil rights are for 14th Amendment citizens. 14th Amendment citizens were created to enslave not black people. It wasn't created for black people. Really, you really need to understand that, because of that lie, everybody has been bamboozled. The 14th Amendment was created to enslave all of the American citizens. You don't have to take my word for it. Do the research for yourself. When you were born, when you were going to school, everything you were taught is totally different from what they show. When you were taught to write your name, you were never taught to write it in all capital letters. Okay? You were taught to write your Christian God-given name in upper and lowercase letters. The first letter of each of your names is the only capital. Everything else is in lowercase. So when you get any paperwork from the government, the state, a corporation, utility companies, anything that is bound by the government, it's going to have all capital letters. There is a reason for that. There is no coincidence. Like I said, you don't have to believe me. However, when your mother and father filled out your birth certificate, your application for your birth certificate, they wrote your name in upper and lowercase. When you received your birth certificate back, it came back in all capital letters. At that point, you were converted from a living, breathing human being to a corporate entity that could be controlled by the government. You are not a United States citizen unless you choose to be. I am here to let you know that a United States citizen is not a free man or woman. You are subject to the laws, statutes, rules, regulations, and ordinances that they create. So, with that being said, once again, you do not have to take my word for it. Do your own due diligence. Read the Constitution. The Constitution of the United States of America was not created for people. It was created to govern the actions of the government, which was created by the people. Okay? Somehow, somewhere down the line, the people who were working in the government decided to flip the script and have you think that you were subject to them, when in reality, they are subject to us. We created the government. We can destroy the government. But you have to understand that you have to know your rights. Read your state's constitution. I live in California, so therefore I have to go by my state's constitution. The California Constitution of 1849 in its original form. The California Constitution of 1879 was revised, and a lot of extra stuff was included in there to confuse people, to add in their own agendas that took away from a lot of our rights, a lot of our liberties. And I just want it to be known that I am declaring here today that I will no longer be subject to their rules, their laws, their ordinances, their codes. And it is your right as well. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope I've reached somebody.